All right, folks, it is 1 o'clock on Wednesday, August 19th. You just saw me on the noon with Lee Thomas. Now, I want you to take a look at this video here. And this was what unfolded, or part of what unfolded last night at a Dearborn City Council meeting. Anti-Islam activist, described by critics as an agitator. Jake Lang was present, and it brought out the crowds out there. Our own Ingrid Kelly was also in the mix there. She was very close to Jake Lang. You had police coming out in riot gear, trying to keep the peace. We do know, we have heard from Dearborn Police this morning. This is probably a little less than an hour ago. 22 arrests made during this planned demonstration at the Henry Ford Centennial Library. Chief Shaheen had said that our officers, quote, met a challenging and rapidly evolving situation with the professionalism this community expects, keeping everyone safe, protecting the constitutional rights of those who came in to be heard, and allowing City Council to complete its business. Now, some of those arrested were not even from Dearborn. They were from Michigan. They were from out of state. And you're going to hear from Mayor Hammoud in a little bit, but I do want to get to a brief clip. First, you're going to hear from Jake Lang, and then you're going to hear from Dearborn Mayor Abdullah Hammoud.
Muslims go home before we send you home. We have cruise ships, we have planes, we have trains, and we're going to pack them out with all of the Arabs. You have to go home. We don't want you here.
A group of children walked up, and amongst them was a young boy not older than 6 or 7. And he looked at me and he asked if the quote-unquote crusaders that were coming to kill him. And that little boy reminded me that what is happening outside is not just political theater. Fear has consequences. So tonight, I want to speak directly to him. And I want to speak to every resident of Dearborn who has felt that fear. I want to boldly say that you belong here. That you belong here as much as anyone.
All right, folks, so we just wrapped up an interview with Abdullah Hammoud, and we asked him about the young child that he spoke to, about the Crusaders coming for him and the fear that that child had. And you're going to hear more about that in just a few moments. But first, I want to get to Dawood Waleed. Dawood, how you doing, man?
I'm doing fantastic, given the circumstances.
I expected that, but thank you for coming in. Thank you for being able to have this conversation with us. I know you were there briefly. In the moments that you were there, just describe the tension that was in the air.
Well, the tension that was in the air yesterday evening is something that's very familiar. Jake Lang, the anti-Muslim provocateur, has been in our region before. But even beforehand, going back past 15 years, we've had Westboro Baptist Church come to Dearborn. Pastor Terry Jones is the first one that came with these shenanigans to burn the Quran. And there was a larger crowd even when Terry Jones came than what took place yesterday. So unfortunately, we're quite accustomed to anti-Muslim provocateurs and also white nationalists coming into our area.
So you saw also what unfolded on TV.
Yes.
Dearborn Police said 22 people were arrested. The city council meeting went off peacefully. When you hear of those numbers and that news, and there were no injuries, and then on top of that, majority of the people who were arrested appear to be out of state or not from Dearborn. How do you process that news?
Well, number one, kudos to the Dearborn Police Department for their professionalism. Number two, though we dislike the message, I actually am happy that Mr. Lang did not get assaulted as he was assaulted previously, because at the end of the day, he's seeking notoriety, and people come into our community to try to commoditize or monetize something happened to them. So again, the Dearborn Police did a wonderful job. It's unfortunate that so many people were arrested, but again, these are outside agitators who do not reside in southeastern Michigan, who come here for their, and I'm not saying this lightly, but with their white supremacist crusade, because there were neo-Nazis out there, Nazi flags being flown. There was KKK paraphernalia out there yesterday too. So it just is not something simply anti-Muslim. It's something that's very anti-Jewish and anti-Black that was going on there yesterday as well.
Look, Dearborn was undergoing something that most of our nation undergoes. And I would like to believe that most of our nation is known to be peaceful, known to be able to have discussions in real life, not on social media, but in real life. Um, what does the reaction from Dearborn and how this was handled with the citizens and not getting into fights? How do you feel uh, Dearborn should be viewed now? Because I know a lot of times in certain medias, it's not in the best light. But we know here in Southeast Michigan, Dearborn is a peaceful city.
Yeah, well, the stereotype of that Muslims are inherently violent. Number one, the vast majority of people in the community did not go out there at all. There were no physical confrontations, right? And again, most of the ruckus and the people who were arrested, these weren't people from our community here. So that's to be very clear. So if we're looking at Arab Americans who also happen to be Muslims, those who did go were overwhelmingly peaceful, and they were exercising their First Amendment right in answering the First Amendment right of Mr. Lang and those people who came out there.
Give me a sense of the emotions that you go through when you have a provocateur like Jake Lang, and you know he's coming, and you know what potentially could happen. What were your emotions like yesterday leading up to this meeting?
Well, I was hoping that there were no counter protesters that are going to come. That's exactly what fuels bigots like this. The Dearborn police chief asked people politely to avoid it. We at CAIR Michigan asked people not to go. There also were some Christian leaders in Dearborn who encouraged people not to go. But, unfortunately, all we can do is make advice, but people showed up. So, I mean, I think that's the kind of unfortunate thing that some people, they want to show their righteous indignation, but they literally feed into the conflict that the likes of Jake Lang, KKK, and neo-Nazis, that's what they're looking for.
What is next? How does CAIR help facilitate and evolve the next step in the conversation of making sure to protect the people in Dearborn?
Well, I mean, the primary function of the protection of people in Dearborn first is the Dearborn Police Department, which again is doing a stellar job. They are also in communication with state and federal law enforcement. And we're very happy and pleased also that there were some elected officials statewide, like Senator Alyssa Slotkin, who raised her voice and speak out against it. So all we can do besides prayer is to continue our good relationships, interfaith relationships with the Christian community in the vicinity in particular, and to have our people make sure that when outside agitators come, to not step to them because they're looking for provocation. And that's really, we'll continue to do that.
Dawood, I appreciate the conversation.
Thank you very much.
Continue
My
to
pleasure.
take care of yourself for sure. So we do have that conversation with Abdullah Hammoud that we did about 30 minutes ago. And we want you to listen to what he had to say. Dearborn Mayor Abdullah Hammoud. Mayor Hammoud, thank you for joining us. After a very busy, and that's kind of an understatement, but a very busy evening Wednesday. I just looked at the news release from Dearborn Police, 22 arrests, no injuries, city council not interrupted. How would you say last night went on your end from what you saw?
Thank you so much for having me. I think from a safety and security perspective, it went really well. We have the utmost confidence in our police chief and our police department, who did a phenomenal job. Obviously, you announced the number of arrests that occurred, and the majority of those arrests were non-Dearborn residents, meaning the majority of Dearborn residents took the advice of our police department, myself, and our council to stay home if they had no pressing issues. Alternatively, obviously, it was a horrible sight to see so many people whose hearts are just filled with hate. We saw swastikas on flags being risen over our veterans and War Memorial Park. We saw individuals who spewed just so much bigotry within the council chambers. And so from that perspective, obviously, I think it was a sad day for all to see.
Look, you told a story at the city council meeting about a young child and who had spoken to you about a crusade and the fear for his life, his young life. How many families do you come in contact with when you hear of people like a Jake Lang coming to town or someone who may be of that similar vein?
You know, my phone has been going off for for days, if not weeks. This morning, last night, and I can't tell you how many families who kept their children at home. I mean, one of my directors here at work, who is not Muslim nor is he Arab, his child's youth football camp in the city of Dearborn was canceled yesterday evening for safety and security reasons, to make sure that parents felt comfortable that they can keep their children home while the quote unquote crusaders were coming through town. And so these are conversations that we carry every day. And I think what we have to understand is that the goal of this hate is to push people in the city of Dearborn to retreat their lives, to somehow live smaller. And that would give them a victory. What we need to do is assure the residents of the city, to assure the families of the city, that they can go about their lives as they normally would, pray as they always have, live as they always have. And then we, the adults, elected officials, our police department, will make sure that they are safe and secure and can go about their lives normally.
Look, man, you are very even keeled. You're cool, calm, and collected. Whenever we see you, we always see you, you know, helping out with the city, whether it's with litter, whether it's with noise, and whether it's safety for your residents, or standing up for your residents on a national scale. I know that these are kind of situations you don't necessarily sign up for as mayor, but what kind of emotions do you go through when you also have to realize, you know, you're a dad too, you're a husband, you're having to take care of not just all these families in Dearborn, but your family as well.
I appreciate that. I am a father first and a husband first. And if I can't take care of my own family, I can't be expected to take care of the city. And I've had to have many difficult conversations with my wife. You know, the beautiful part about my girls is they're not quite of the age to understand exactly what's happening. And in my house, actually, they don't even know that I'm mayor. And I prefer to keep it that way. Whenever I leave the home in the morning, when they ask me where I'm going, I say I'm going off to work, and I explain that work just means I help people. And so my daughters have now associated going to work as helping people, with no idea that there's no title involved or anything of that nature. But in conversations with my wife, as threats have poured in on myself and on my wife, on my daughters, on my family and loved ones, you have to have difficult conversations about where we can be in public, how we can be in public, and most importantly, how we protect the childhood of our girls, because that's what we want to do. The young boy that approached me at a park in Southwest Dearborn, no older than 6 or 7, and when he asked, "Are the Crusaders here to kill me?" I paused much longer than I should have, because I would never expect that question out of a boy his age or a child his age. And the police officer that was with me, because we walk as a whole team, is the one who interjected immediately and assured that boy that he has nothing to worry about and that he should go about his day as he had it planned. But these aren't conversations or questions that children should be asking. They should be worried about whether they're going to get that extra hour to stay up at night before they got to go to bed. They should be worried about whether they get ice cream that night, what movie their parents are going to take them to that weekend, if they can go to their friend's house, if they can have a sleepover. Those are the things that children should be worried about. But when you have agitators and provocateurs like those who came to the city of Dearborn, their number one goal is to instill fear, to divide, to try to make us retract and retreat into our homes. And that's what we have to push back against. We have a larger vision and idea of what America is. And I think that is what makes Dearborn exceptional.
Mayor Hood, I got a couple questions for you. Has anyone from the Christian community reached out to many of those in the Dearborn and in the Muslim community? And what have those conversations been like over the past 24 to 48 hours?
Those conversations happen every day in Dearborn. That's a normal part of life. I mean, just 2 days ago, we had a press conference here at the city with Christian clergy of all denominations or non-denominations, and stood united in face of this hatred that was coming to our city. Many of my neighbors are of Christian background and Christian faith. You know, the largest mosque in the country over on Altar Road is anchored by 2 churches where the minarets and the church steeples share the same skyline. And so the conversations you're speaking to, that's just a normal day in the city of Dearborn. And I can tell you that I heard from many residents who were at the meeting yesterday who were from the Christian background or no religion at all, who spoke in support of the Arab and Muslim neighbor. And I think that's what's most beautiful about the city of Dearborn. This is still the city where neighbors share a meal over the fence line, where your neighbor grows to be family regardless of any blood relation that you may have or may not have with them. This is a somewhat of a large city, but it still retains that small town feel, that community feel. And that's what people love most about the city.
My last question for you is this: where does Dearborn go from here?
Unfortunately, yesterday's actions, yesterday's theater is not new to the city of Dearborn. Before Jake Lang, there was Terry Jones, and after Jake Lang, there'll be somebody else, because Dearborn is a little different. But Dearborn is what is best of America. The idea that folks from all corners of the earth can somehow come to this country, build this country, and push for progress within this country. And so Dearborn will do what it's always done. It'll continually rise, it'll continually build, it'll continually thrive, and we will set the example for other cities across the country about how folks of all backgrounds, of all faiths come together. And regardless of the direction in which they will pray for the same set of ideals and same set of values, that they want to care for their neighbor, they want to uplift the poor, they want to make sure that their family is healthy and taken care of, and that collectively we'll move forward with the city of Dearborn stronger than ever before.
Mayor Hammoud, always a pleasure to talk to you. I appreciate it, and I know you're busy, so we'll let you get back to taking care of your city.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you for having me.
Anytime.